Hello, good day. Welcome to Field Study 1 under the program of PTCP of Northern Summer Colleges. I, together with RJ Orongan, will discuss to you the episode 2, Learner Diversity, Developmental Characteristics, Needs and Interests. In this episode, this will provide an opportunity to observe the learners of different ages and grade levels. It highlights the differences in their characteristics and needs. As a future teacher, it is important for me or for us to determine our learners' characteristics and needs so that we will be able to plan and implement learning activities and assessment that are all developmentally appropriate. At the end of this episode, we must be able to describe the characteristics, needs, and interests of learners from different developmental levels. So learning diversity or learner diversity, learning is effective to the extent to which it engages with the learner's identities. These are deeply diverse, complex, and multi-layered. Learner differences should be measured and taken into account both in terms of the dimensions of gross demographics and more subtle and variable life world attributes. Diverse learners include their children and students of all abilities, from racially, ethnically, culturally, and linguistically diverse backgrounds. The reality of learner diversity challenges school districts and schools to provide rigorous programs that meet students where they are academically below grade level, maximize their growth as learners, and accelerate their learning to close achievement gaps. So, to support the needs of diverse learners, we must recognize the diversity of students as learners and offer powerful programs that provide the differentiated learning opportunities that will accelerate the achievement of all students. Lastly is to commit time for faculty to first engage in discussions of the needs of diverse learners and how those needs can be identified in the classroom. To proceed with the learner's development matrix, these are the indicators. For physical underdevelopment domain, this includes the gross motor skills, fine motor skills, and self-help skills. For preschooler, they are energetic and playful, likes to walk around and run back and forth. They are also dependent to elderly when opening a bottle, opening an umbrella, or carrying their books. For elementary, from range 5 to 7 years old, they are interactive and participative in outdoor activities. They also show good skills in drawing or molding with clay. For high school, from age 11 to 15, they are more engaged in playing sports and outdoor activities, interests them especially team or group activities. Their drawing and writing skills become finer too. Under social, interaction with each others, interaction with classmates and friends, interest in others. For preschoolers, they are friendly. They share almost every little discovery they had to the class. They also offer something like food or snacks with their classmates. For elementary, they are attached, or attachments start to develop when they are closer to their peers. They play with their friends, especially with the same gender. For high school, they start to build circle of friends and always enjoy being with their peers. They have learned to cooperate with others on working out a task. So now let us revisit the learning essentials. Here are major principles of development relevant to this episode. First is development is relatively orderly. Development follows directional patterns such as from the head to the toe, and from the center of the body then outwards. Second is development takes place gradually. Third, all domains of development and learning, physical, social and emotional, and cognitive are important, and they are closely interrelated. Lastly is development proceeds toward greater complexity, self-regulation, symbolic or representational capabilities.
The third development domain is emotional. So under emotional, moods and temperament, expression of feelings. Second is emotional independence and the others. So under the preschooler, um, they easily get upset when something happened isn't what they are expecting, but they are daily and often show positive emotion towards others, but they easily cry when they are hurt or someone showed a negative attitude. So the preschoolers are very sensitive. Yes. Next is elementary under the emotional. So elementary, they can now express their feelings, emotions, ideas, and even imagination. They can contradict someone's opinion or simply tell that what the other people say isn't true or unbelievable. So sa elementary naman, medyo ano na sila, um, naingat na sila sa ginagawa nila. And the third one is the high school. So mood shifts occur in almost every situation. Although they are now confident in sharing their feelings with others, they still find it hard to deal with frustration. So marami dyan sa mga high school student na ganyan. So the last development domain is the cognitive. So under cognitive, we have communication skills, thinking skills, problem solving, and others. So sa preschool naman, they copy or imitate what the adults are showing to them, especially when they think that a certain action is fun or it causes them to feel great emotion. So, yun na nga. Then, the elementary naman, they start memorizing the alphabet and knowing how to write almost every letter in it. They can read but still struggle in comprehending what they are reading and memorizing little details. So usually these are the grade 1, grade 2, or grade 3. So the last one is high school. So they are now logical in making their decisions, although sometimes they still need guidance from their guardians. So that's true. They need guidance sa ating mga guardian pa. Then another table, as you can see, there are the salient development characteristic. So the level, the preschool, the age range of learners observed from 3 to 4 years old. So as you can see, the salient characteristic observed and the implication of to the teaching learning process. So yun na nga yung ginawa natin, yung observe tayo sa ating ginawang activity. Under the preschool, the salient characteristic observed, they imitate or copy adults' actions. So just like what I have said a while ago in the cognitive, ginagaya nila yung mga action ng matatanda. So ganyan talaga yung mga bata. So the implication to the teaching learner process ng preschool Therefore, the teacher must show good acts to preschoolers. So that's right. And the teacher must correct if a child has copied a wrong action from adults. He or she must explain to the child what's wrong with what they have shown. So yes, that's true. Dapat yung as a future educator and yung teacher, dapat i-guide natin yung mga bata sa tama. The second is the elementary. So the age range of learners observes to 5 to 7 years old. So the salient characteristic observed, they are more interactive in playing outdoor games. So that's true. Mas sila sa laro, sa labas, yung mga elementary. The implication to their teaching learning process. Therefore, the teacher should incorporate performance-based activities in every lesson. And lastly, the high school, the age range is 11 to 15 years old. So the salient characteristic of service, mood shifts occurs in almost every situation. So just like what I have said a while ago in the cognitive, so nag-shift sila ng mood nila depende sa sitwasyon. So implication to the teaching learning process, teacher must be patient in dealing with high schoolers as they are now in adolescence period, which is a critical stage. Understanding is needed. Yes, that's true. Kailangan talaga ng understanding at saka patient ng mga teachers sa mga high schoolers kasi dyan, yung parang lumalabas yung pagkakasaway nila. And lastly, the reflections of in our module in FS1g2, the episode 2. Stay on the question number 1. While you were observing the learners, did you recall your own experiences when you were their age? What similarities or differences do you have with the learners you observe? So, according sa natin pag-observe, for me, just like me in the past when I was in preschool, I also have tantrums. I always cry, especially when I don't see my mom outside the school. So that's true. In my elementary days, I was friendly and loved to play all the time, but still a crying baby. And in my high school days, I was different. I was brave enough to do it with myself and very close to my friends and loved ones. So chatting with them with my secrets and problems. So number 2, think of a teacher you cannot forget for positive or negative reasons. How did she or he help or not help you with your needs? Physically, emotional, social, and cognitive. How did it affect you? So, for me, when I was in grade school, I remember my professor, which also my math teacher, and not smart nor intelligent about mathematics, but I do my best just to know her subject, but it didn't come with my mind. So she always calling me and forced to answer her question that I didn't know. So I always ended up not totally crying. Yung parang naluluha lang and feel embarrassed. So, ganun niya kasi yung elementary pa. The last one is share your other insights here. So, it's hard to be a teacher, but it's also hard to be a student. So, when I become a teacher, I would give my very best to teach my student, and when the student find difficulty, I will still give him or her a chance and teach her or him in a sensory ways just to knows the studies and not feel embarrassed. So that's my reflections about what our observation in this episode to the learning the I mean the what's this the learner's characteristics and the diversity of learners. So that's the end of my report. Thank you for listening. God bless you.